at one time someone asked me, why don't you write the history of Dale Hollow? And I said, I can't do that. I've never written a book before. And I don't know, I started studying it because I've lived here my whole life. I'm there most of my life, and I've grown up on the water. And it's just my passion for me. So I started investigating a little, and wasn't long before I had a book put together. And now it's been out for a couple of years now, and it's been pretty well received. I'm happy with it. Oh, there's all kinds of interesting stories out there about mostly just the building of the lake. It's hard for a lot of people to imagine our government buying houses in cities and just telling people it's time for you to move. I mean, they had no choice. So these people sold their homes, they moved away from these little communities, and it was all destroyed. And then they backed the water up, and even though that was a sad time for a lot of people, we've gotten one of the most beautiful lakes in history out of the deal. So for us, it's been great. For those folks, it was probably not so great. The Corps of Engineers made it in 1942. It took them a couple of years. They started in 41, and everyone was evacuated before 1943. And in 43, the water started coming up. Now, the Corps was a little undecided on how long they thought it would take for the lake to come up, but they felt like it might take a couple of years, perhaps even 3. But in less than a year, the water was full. So we had a full lake, and in 43, they started fishing and boating and doing all the wonderful things we do here on Dale Hollow. We have one of the cleanest inland lakes in the country. I mean, we have often we have 10 feet of visibility, sometimes 15, depending on the time of year and what the weather's been doing. But 15 feet of visibility, that's clear water.
Darren, tell us, where can folks purchase a copy of Stories from Dale Hollow?
Oh, you can purchase them at my marina at Willow Grove here on the lake. You can get them at both in Overton County and Clay County libraries, as well as at my personal website. You can purchase them at DaleHollowGravedigger.com. They call me the Gravedigger because of all the history I've dug up. So that's if that's something easy to remember. My website's got all sorts of historical links that you can not only talk about history, but I've got the Corps' websites there also, where if you want to get lake levels and fishing information from the Corps, it's got a link from my site as well. So a lot of good, interesting links from there. I've written a number of other books that have to do with some of the local history. Maybe even in Livingston, I've got a book about that, and working on some other ideas, a DVD about the history of the lake, and that's not yet come to pass, but we're working on that. That should be my next big project I'd like to complete. But will be based sort of on the history book that I wrote first, called Stories from Dale Hollow.